Alright, I'm checking my audio video just to make sure I'm audible and visible. Okay, I'm checking my audio. There we go. All right, everything is set. Just opening up my chat panel just in case somebody is online. All right, just sharing this link to my people out there. So in case somebody wants to jump in for live, they can do so. All right. So here we are, and we are in 100 days of emotional intelligence using brain skills. We're learning and inspiring each other to spread EQ awareness in the form of our brain skills. Okay, so the logical brain and emotional brain skill set, or the most 21st century most demanded skill set for any profile of an individual. You may be a young adult, or you may be a career professional, you may be uh, an entrepreneur, or you may be a stay-at-home dad or mom. Emotional intelligence is most needed now, because in the day and age where the heat outside are the mindset outside in the world is highly competitive and highly volatile, and sometimes negative vibes everywhere wherever we turn across. So it is important to protect ourselves from the negativity, the environment that it is thrusting upon us. So for which we need to be able to have the skill set with us to be able to navigate any kind of crisis, any kind of situations in our life or even work. Today, we are discussing one more interesting angle on why and how an individual, especially as an entrepreneur, how can you, gain this risk tolerance? I want to ask you, how many of you here feel that, what your environment, whatever situations your environment throws at, especially as an entrepreneur, what makes it differentiated between a successful entrepreneur and with those of who couldn't make it yet? The huge differentiation is only because life and business is full of risk, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. Risk is synonymous, but the differentiator between the successful ones and the not successful ones are the risk tolerance skills. Whenever the business goes through evolving stages, okay, from the launch, the pre-launch, the launch, the expansion, every stage the business evolves, and for which to grow, you need to be handling a lot of situations around, and you need the right kind of skills, right kind of team, right kind of strategies to be able to navigate those challenges. One of the top talents that as an entrepreneur it is expected to have is risk tolerance. So today, the angle of this episode will be to address that difference that an entrepreneur can make in order to navigate those struggles, to change those struggles to opportunities, and also how they handle risks, in their day-to-day life and business. You will learn how to develop risk tolerance and make smart, calculated business risks, right? Strategies to balance that bold entrepreneurship and with, because we are talking about brain skills, we just cannot deny the fact that we have to take the blend of both logical and emotional brain. And as I already told you, risk tolerance itself is a emotional brain, right brain skills. So how are you going to take the blend or take the support of logical brain as well, so that when you have a combination of both these brains working for you, then you are a smart entrepreneur. You are working in your true potential. Okay, so we're going to see some insights from successful leaders, okay, who can help us. When you know certain people who have done that before, it gives us some inspiration and confidence, some validation, right? So we might want to use those brain skills and the wisdom that they have gained. Right now, the technology is in our hands. So, a simple Google search can tell you the entire story behind each person's. As long as they are, having an online presence, you can get a lot of data about it. So I've done that case study for you. So in this episode, we're going to see how those best entrepreneurs don't afraid of taking risks. Okay. So let's jump in for today's episode. My name is Brinda Kalyan Raman, and you are watching my YouTube channel. And this series is called 100 Days for Developing Emotional Intelligence Using Brain Skills. This is dedicated to each and every individual who wants to improve. And emotional intelligence is more than ever. It's more important, and it's become an essential skill set in everybody's life. Okay. On that note, I'm going to be sharing the screen today. Right now, even I don't know what's going to come up. Let's see what we have for today. So this is dedicated to all the entrepreneurs because this can be taken as a guide for you to know where are the risk, what kind of risk, and first of all, you need to identify the risk around you, and for which you need to have that ability. So we have been discussing all that in the previous episodes as well. So if you haven't already watched it, please do, so that you'll be able to connect the dots, and we will also see how effectively can you actually take that bold decisions using brain hacks and some inspiration from people who have already taken. And there are some cues for you how to measure, how to, some more extra tips for you to handle it in a very aware way, because you need to know both the sides, the downsides and the advantages. Accordingly, you will be able to take that risk. Now, when we talk about risk tolerance, your understanding of risk tolerance in outside many things, but since we are talking about emotional intelligence, essentially when we are dealing with left brain and right brain skills, I want to let you know how, see, the left brain and right brain is functioning. It's functioning in a similar way to everybody, each and every individual, starting from a child. As soon as we are born, the brain function starts. But the only difference between the childhood and the adulthood, the teenagers from there on, is only because the right brain, which is very active in the childhood, it starts picking up logical derivation right after they're 6 to 7 years later on. So that is how the personality is formed. The child has likes and dislikes. They started taking their own discretion by how they objectively approach. Uh, they're able to weigh what is right and what is, may not be what is right and wrong, but at least what they like and what they dislike. That much they are very clear, right? They want this chocolate only, and they want this ice cream only. They want the other person's bite only. Okay, this doesn't interest them. The one which what they have doesn't interest them. So they're very clear about certain things, right? That happens only when there is a blend of the left brain. In fact, slowly, because of our so-called education, the concentration on the left brain is heavier. So the child, when they become a teenager and a young adult, they are more tuned to their left brain. So we are anyway using these brain, but the whole aspect of the series is to help you tap into those brain skills which are dormant, which are still in your potential, and we are going to take the blend of it. We're neither going to discard any part of the brain nor going to overdo on it. Okay. So when you're talking about risk tolerance, what we're going to do is we're going to use our left brain, logical brain, to assess risk through careful analysis and data-driven projections. Okay. As an entrepreneur, it is very, very important. And as a right brain, emotional brain, we're going to trust intuition and emotional resilience to take that leap of faith. Keywords here is trust, intuition, and emotional resilience to take that leap of faith. Okay, so that's exactly indicates the right brain attitude, because the intuition, trust, resilience are all intangible ones that you can only feel and experience about it. Okay, the wisdom grows and evolves. The ones which are tangible in terms of data, fact, and all that stuffs, or from the left brain. Okay. So the benefit of risk tolerance as an entrepreneur is innovation, because it is important if you're an entrepreneurship journey, it is important to be creative, okay, at par with the market, To be able to stand differentiated, you need to be on the innovation trend. Okay. High risk tolerance leads industry disruptions and new ideas. There are umpteen number of successful leaders around us in different industries who have taken that innovation using technology or using their principles and concepts. They won't, individual identity, they have innovated. Okay. So the second thing is market leadership. As an entrepreneur, we expect an influence to back us up. Okay. So for which you need to be able to voice out your message very clearly and to be able to have that influence on others. At this day and age, especially when the digital world is taking over, it is important to gain that market share. Okay. So risk tolerant entrepreneurs becomes the first movers in emerging markets, which means they are okay to fail and they're going to quickly learn and move on. They're going to pioneer. They're going to be the first movers. And that is why they are profitable, highly influential. Okay. So if you want to grow that level, you need to be really good at implementation. You just cannot, take a step back. You should be able to take that risk and just push through. Okay. Then comes growth potential. Calculated risk can result in exponential business growth. Then challenges in risk tolerance for an entrepreneur is sometimes it could have a downside of financial instability. High risk tolerance can lead to financial losses if not managed well. Just want to quickly check. Somebody is trying to message me in the chat. Oh, tell them a hi, hello. All right. Okay. Going to share it again. All right. So sometimes when you are on the spree of taking risk, it is important to verify, first of all, identify what is the risk. Do you really see that as a risk? And do you really see the importance of taking that risk? Do you have that necessary resources to back you up? Can you weigh it before even jumping into an action? Can you weigh the consequence? Can you foresee? Can you see? Because when you're dealing in business, you are not only dealing with yourself, with your products, with your business, it involves people also. It involves customers. It involves your own team. It involves technology. It involves money. It involves effort. So you'll have to weigh it objectively and take that risk. And it is important that it could have an emotional strain because uncertainty and potential failure can cause stress and burnout. Because not every risk that you take can give you that success rate. Are you ready to take that plunge? Is your team ready to take? Are you ready to are you equipped with your resources to take that plunge? And then overextension, taking on too many risks without proper safety nets is very, very dangerous. That's exactly what I said, right? Critical nature of risk tolerance is, suppose you don't have this talent at all, especially as an entrepreneur, what's going to happen is you're going to miss that opportunity. And then it leads to stagnation on failure to compete. Okay. Very, very key, important, highly competitive skill set. If you cannot take that risk, you cannot be competitive. You cannot compete. Forget about your rivalry and all that. For you to sustain in the business, you just have to at least keep up that sustainability, right? For which you need to keep up certain standards. Okay. Especially at this day and age where after pandemic, the world is not the same. It's so fast because one thing is technology has come in our palms. It just in few seconds, things are turning out. If not you, people are always there. There are a lot of other vendors. So customer needs speed. How are you adapting to that? And what kind of risks that you need to be able to take that to be able to sustain your business and your brand identity? Suppose you do have it, you're going to take that high risk tolerance. With this skill set, you're going to be innovating and you can expand and become an industry leadership. See, usually the risk can happen, during the launch or expansion, right? Both are important for business. And for you to become a market leader, it is important to sustain that trend. So statistically also, high growth startups fail due to risk aversion or lack of innovation. 70% of startups fail due to this talent, lack of this talent. How about that? The reason why they fail is because they are averse, which means they don't want to take risk. They're scared. Maybe they fear of failure, fear of uncertainty. That's exactly what we addressed yesterday's episode. Or lack of innovation. There's no newness, there's no freshness. Customer needs something every day. There is a new trend, right? So that is how the technology is actually driving us. So if not too fast, but at least you should be able to serve your customer needs. So for which you need to be really equipped. And if need be, wherever it is needed, you need to take that leap of faith and jump into taking action. So who needs this? Typically, we are talking about entrepreneurs. In that, startup founders launching new businesses in uncertain or emerging markets, the business owners expanding operations in different locations or pivoting in response to market changes. You could be changing your own business model or introducing a new product line, in which case, or even advancing in technology. So that kind of changes are also some risk, right? And then innovators developing disruptive products or services in competitive industries. These three are, one is during the startup, the launch. Second is during the expansion. And then something that you want to create and disrupt the market. That is where you will depend on innovation and with the help of technology, with the help of a lot of data. That's where you get to be the first movers and revolutionize the industry. That is where exactly the market leadership branding happens. Now, let's talk about applicability in different areas of entrepreneurship, where and all you can apply risk tolerance. So the first thing is business expansion. So in the interest of time, we're going to take only three factors. First, when it comes to expansion, it could be different location, or it could be different line of business, products or services. You're going to identify that opportunity. First of all, you need to identify, do a lot of assessments based on the data that you have. So you're going to research and analyze emerging markets, untapped customer, and then geographical territories for expansion, before expansion, first of all. So you're going to do research, analyzing your own, emerging market, your customers, untapped customer zone, and geographical locations and expectations before expansion. And then you're going to assess that risk, calculate financial implications, competitive landscape. Okay, is it really good? There could be sometime, maybe some products, it depends on natural resources. For example, do we really see that, resources available? Or do we, sometimes we need accessibility. Do we really have that in that city or place that you want to expand? Or sometimes that kind of customers are not available. So what is the need of you opening there? So it is important to identify your financial implications as well. So it could be really costly. Maybe you're looking out to expand in a very well-developed city. It's going to have a huge implications, not just the competition. So, and the resource requirements while establishing clear risk mitigation strategies. Okay. Then not just research and analysis, not just understanding the consequences. It is about jumping into action. I always say it is just not the awareness, it is application which is going to determine the success rate. So execute expansion strategies with calculated boldness, monitoring key metrics and adapting plans based on real-time feedback. So an entrepreneur who does that proper research and analysis, the consequences of financial implications, the resource availability, and also the people involved in it, making sure that it has a competitive edge, and then be able to take that call and execute expansion in order to, smartly take that bold decisions and monitor the key metrics. You need to be able to reflect and regular review on it. You just cannot launch it and just leave it like that. Okay, that's not how it works, because you're going to be spending crores of investments. You're going to have a trial run before that. Maybe, online, you can use a lot of online survey even before you, get into the physical location. Or sometimes you need to spend time money, and resources in the real-time location to be able to test the waters. So those are all the risk. Okay. And based on real-time feedback is when you can actually know whether that risk taken is valid or not. And then risk and product development. So ideation, that is the first step. Even before you jump into action, there is something, the very first thing is in entrepreneurship is called ideation. You're going to challenge that conventional thinking by exploring breakthrough concepts, even when facing skepticism from your own stakeholders. Ideation, supposed to be not something that we are copying or not something which is already available. It has to stand out and it has to have an impact on society, on people, and on your brand. And it has to be a long term. So when all these things fall in place, your strategies in terms of finance, resources, and your people, and the product and services feasibility is when proper ideation can happen. Right after you mentally have some picture, blueprint about it, the immediate next step in entrepreneurship is to have a prototype. Okay. You're going to allocate significant resources to build and iterate prototypes, knowing that multiple failures may precede success. So now you see multiple failures, knowing that multiple failures may precede success, which means you know very well there's going to be success only after you cross these steps. Not everybody has to go through these failures, but then it is a norm that people go through series of experimentation. I would say I would rather call it as an experimentation instead of calling it as a failure. Because only when, especially when in a prototype, I don't expect 100% result as an entrepreneur. I'm just testing the water. Okay. And I'm open for feedback. And then market testing. So once you create that model, that prototype, you're going to let it out to the market at a very lean product process, a lean price point, or sometimes even free. Only then people will be able to give you that right kind of feedback, or you will be able to get that data. So you're going to, that is also a risk. In digital entrepreneurship, we call this as a freebie or freemium, which is not exactly a premium product, but then for you to get the premium product, we give a free entry. Okay. So taking calculated risk in market entry, balancing limited customer data with first mover advantage potential. Even for the customer, they're going to try this as a first time. Even before they hit the market, they are going to get at a very freemium price, or sometimes even free of cost. There is a lot of people on Amazon, they share their feedback having tested Amazon products, because people, companies like Amazon, they want their prototype, they want their products to be trialed out even before they are launching. So it is a normal thing. So in terms of product development, these are the three things: ideation, prototype, and market testing. When it comes to investment and risk tolerance, both are synonymous. Am I right? Risk is always associated with financial investments. So three things here again: personal capital. Successful entrepreneurs strategically invest 60% of their personal savings. Only 60%, okay? Demonstrating high risk tolerance through calculated self-investment. If you're a person who putting all the golden eggs, the entire 100% into your business, that's wrong. If you're putting only, very lean, that is again wrong. Putting your self-investment is very, very important. To what extent is something that you have to think through. Then borrow funds. Okay. Smart risk takers leverage statistic debt through business loans, credit lines, and investor capital to accelerate growth while maintaining operational control. You just cannot say, I won't take a loan, I don't want a credit, and all that. Business entrepreneurs have to take that risk. The moment you know that you are on a credit line is when you will kick in more. That will give you the necessary push to keep doing faster. Okay. If you're sitting on your own savings, that's why 100% savings, it only gives you the lethargy, because by now, it's your own savings, or somebody else is giving you money. So it's not going to work. That is why people find investors because they have the accountability and responsibility to complete, to be able to answer to them. Then long-term vision. So elite entrepreneurs balance immediate financial exposure against 3 to 5 year return projections, making data-driven decisions while embracing calculated uncertainties as well. So this is called long-term vision. 3 to 5 years. It's no more 10 years because every year the world is on a fast-paced changing. So it's 3 years itself is a long term. Okay. So an entrepreneur, especially as an elite entrepreneur, balance immediate financial exposure against 3 to 5 year time. All right. Now, leadership and risk tolerance. So that's again another one. It's not just a product launch. It's not just the startup. It's not only ideation or even execution or launch. It is also maintaining that standards for you to lead and be a business leader, not just for your brand, also for society, also for, next generation. What are you translating and how much is the risk for that kind of a level? So 3 areas. One, strategic decision making is very, very important. When you come to that level where you are leading it and people are learning from you, you got to embrace calculated risk and make high stake decisions. You just cannot lock up yourself saying, that's it. I'm going to lock my, money made. I'm not going to expand or anything. So it becomes, entropy will kick in and then it just fades off. People don't want to work with somebody who's not progressive, right? So there is, gone are the days where the retirement attitude was always there. People want fresh things, especially the new generation. They switch jobs because they feel stagnated and they want to take risk and they want to look up for somebody who's progressively taking that step. Okay. One, it gives them the thrill, but then there has to be a balance of making sure that there are no financial implications or there are no too many risks. Otherwise, it's going to, spoil the reputation of the brand. And then inspirational team leadership, cultivating a culture of smart risk taking by empowering teams to experiment, learning from failures, and pursuing ambitious goals. See, for you to sustain in the market, you are not going to be able to do everything. All the to-do task is not done by the leader, by the entrepreneur themselves. You're going to have team to do it. And you just cannot keep your hands on with everything, right? You're going to lead, which means you're not going to do anything. You're going to inspire them to do. So you're going to create that legacy of letting them experiment it. And you're going to back them up. So that is how you inspire. That's how you get your successors as well. That is how a legacy is built. And then agile adaptability, navigating market decisions by quickly adjusting strategies, allocating resources boldly and seizing emerging opportunities ahead of competitors. Now, I was talking about, yesterday we were talking about Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook. So he made a bold move in 2012 itself, where Facebook, when it was Facebook, it acquired Instagram. And later on, they even acquired WhatsApp. So people criticized saying it's a huge investment at that point of time, around 1 billion or something. But now they are reaping their profits, right? So that was the greatest move. And then they're even transitioned from Facebook to Meta. That's a critical pivoting. And now they are embracing the AI. That is why it is called Meta. So those are all the details that is important to be noted under such leadership. So this is an example of agile, being able to see that long-sighted, being a long-sighted and foresee things which is emerging in future, and also be able to take that call at that point of time. You just cannot wait, hatch your eggs, right? So we are also going to see one more personality who's synonymous to leadership, risk taking in just few minutes. Another one is risk tolerance and market entry. Okay, competitive markets everywhere. You take any industry, everything is becoming competitive, especially after pandemic. And even pandemic, from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, people who took that step boldly, people who were adapted it, people who agile, were able to take that risk. They were tolerant. and they stood by. Now they are rising, soaring high. People who, were ready to make their business online, convert their business online during pandemic, or even innovate. I told you there are three levels, right? Not just the launch, not just expansion, and also disruptive product lines like Uber, like people who delivered things at home front. Those business survived. Right now, they are soaring high. So it's not a danger. Anything new need not be a danger to the society. It could definitely be adapted. Now it's revolutionized all the mobile industries. When I say mobile, it's all Uber industry, right? On the go. You don't need a physical presence unless there is a conventional manufacturing setup is required. Similarly, competitive markets enter saturated markets by identifying unique value propositions. Because once it is a red ocean, when it is highly competitive, you're going to be lost very soon. So for which you need to have a unique USP about yourself, right? Developing innovative solutions that address the unmet customer needs. That's exactly where the smart decisions are. Smart entrepreneurs think through. So even when faced with established competitors, it is important to take that data point, foresee that, constantly be aware and alert of customer needs. Volatile industries navigate unpredictable market conditions by building flexible business models. Okay, somebody who was in conventional business, they should also be flexible enough to make their digital presence. Because unless you're found on Google search, your business doesn't exist. It goes to any kind of business. Maintaining strong cash reserves and developing multiple revenue streams to ensure sustainability is a classic thing. So keywords, if you want to be able to navigate the risk in the competitive volatile industries, keywords is to be able to have a flexible business models. Find an hybrid model. Even the bigger corporates are, doing it right now. And then maintain cash reserves. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your income generation as well. Have a multiple source of revenue generation. And then the first mover advantage. So seize opportunities in emerging markets by rapidly developing resources. You just cannot take your own sweet time. And then establishing early brand presence and building strong customer relationship before competitors gain traction is very, very important. So fast implementation is the secret sauce here. So that will be the first mover advantage. So you're going to seize that emerging markets by rapidly deploying resources, establishing early brand presence, and building customer relationship before your competitors gain that traction. So you want to remember 3 points. One is to navigate the competitive markets. You're going to, stand out with your unique USP. Where do you differentiate? In essence, we call this as niche identification. You're going to have your superpower in your niche. You need to have a micro niche. Okay, that's where you will find your unmet customer needs. If you have it, you crack the code. And then volatile industries. So you're going to take a note of how you can build flexible business models. How do you keep, innovating, and how do you keep refreshing, and how do you keep up your loyal customer base? How do you keep engaged with them? And build cash reserves. Very, very important not to put all the eggs in one basket. At the same time, develop multiple revenue streams. And also be the first mover so that you pivot, implement fastly to be able to gain the competitive edge. Okay. Then comes 5 brain hacks, and after that, a case study. And then I'll leave you with some tips and some gifts. Okay. First comes the left brain hack is to build risk tolerance. You're going to start with low risk ventures. This belongs to an individual also, or you're an entrepreneur. Always, always remember, start with small, manageable risk. So start small, launch micro projects with minimal capital investment or even no investment, because you can create a prototype and give them a free trial, like testing new features on online, or offer limited run products to build confidence and experience. And then test the markets. Conduct the targeted pilot programs in specific geographic areas, customer segments, gathering concrete data before committing to full-scale development. Evaluate results. Analyze key performance metrics, customer feedback, and financial customers to develop a robust risk assessment. Then comes risk, develop a clear vision that's going to be your right thing, right brain. You're going to define that purpose. Craft a compelling mission statement that connects your business goals with your deeper meaning. Unless you have something really larger than life to address, we will not be agile to wake up from our bed every day. You should have something larger than you to be able to keep you on track. Okay, your purpose should inspire your action and guide decision making in especially uncertain in times. When everything is normal, you just continue to be. But something is shaking up is when you take a step back. That is where exactly you have to take that risk. And for you to enable you to take that risk, these are hacks. If you have a purpose, I have a mission statement, right? I have a very compelling mission statement. It's like a 3 a.m. test. So whoever asks me, even when they have a, when they wake me up in the night, I'll be able to tell them. So that is how we get the meaning out of our own purpose, which can inspire our action. And then stay focused, transform your vision into concrete milestones and metrics. Let that clarity empower you to make that bold decisions and persist through challenges with unwavering confidence. And then inspire others, because the moment your purpose mission statement includes other people as well. My mission statement goes like this. I want to empower 1 lakh women learning to be free from time, stress, and debt by empowering them to learn through emotional intelligence, leveraging digital media. So when they want to become free from time, debts, and emotions, they immediately be empowered. With that, they can navigate any kind of situations. But with me, when I say 1 lakh women, so for me to reach that 1 lakh, it's going to take at least 3 to 5 years, right? That's a good amount. That's a long-term mission. So if I have only 10 or 100 in my mind, it's not going to inspire me. But if it's going to be a little bit larger than me, then I'm going to be keep pushing forward for it. So all failures are not failures in terms of my effort. It is just experimenting till I reach that 1 lakh, and then I will be able to increase it. So this keeps me focused. The moment every day, day in and day out, right from the day I begin till the end of the night, I just tell this to myself. Everywhere I go, I have it labeled. So this is how I can inspire others, inspire myself too. So communicate your vision with passion and authenticity to unite your team behind your shared mission, especially when you're working as a team. Very, very important. As a leader, you should be able to translate this mission everywhere. That's why when you enter a corporate, the first thing that you see in the reception is their mission statement. And it will be translated to employees everywhere in their desktop or even in their guidelines as in any projects, in any meeting for that matter. Okay. Then comes analyzing market trends and data, which is your pure logical brain. You're going to do market research. We have already spoken about this, making sure that you identify emerging opportunities, evaluate competitive landscape, and understand the customer preferences. And then data analysis in a way that it transforms the raw data into actionable insights. See, all these research and all that, it's still good to see it on paper unless it is transformed into an action. It won't give you that risk. It won't make you feel that you have taken risk. Okay. So it's going to help you give you the quality potential risk and optimize investment decision-making process. Then trend forecasting, very, very important, because utilize predictive modeling like AI and industry expertise to anticipate market shifts, enabling proactive strategical adjustments, and calculated risk. Calculate that emotional resilience. So far we have talked about technicality, but something about your right brain where all that is done is okay in terms of tangible, but then there is something intangible working in us. So we've got to tap into that power as well. So for which I'm calling this as emotional resilience. We have done good amount of topics on resilience. We spoke in the beginning. That's where we started off this entire series. So I would highly recommend you to watch that resilience in different angles. So we also spoke about logical and emotional resilience. Now, 3 points here is for your stress management. Everybody goes through stress, especially entrepreneurs, we go through a lot of stress. Master proven techniques like deep breathing, regular exercise, time blocking to stay calm, and making sure that when you face high stake decisions and intense pressure, you be mindful with these practices. And then mindfulness, integrate all these daily meditation and reflection practice to strengthen your emotional awareness on a daily, practice basically. So you need to have a daily rituals and have some accountability. Sometimes we lack motivation because not all the time we can be self-driven. You definitely need an external motivation, but it doesn't mean that you depend on the external motivation. You're just going to take a support. So have an accountability partner who's not responsible for your results, but then he or she is going to have a check on you on a goodwill. Okay. So that way you can maintain clarity and balance during market volatility and business challenges, because your daily practices is going to come to your rescue. But if you're not practicing daily, you just cannot expect the clarity to come to you at that moment. You should be a in fact, even superhuman um, doesn't become a superhuman. I'm calling about those people who are successful. They don't become successful just like that overnight. With luck doesn't happen every time. Maybe one or two times it can click, intuitively, but then it definitely needs work and discipline. Then positive mindset. So having your practices, maybe you're able to take that risk, you're able to be resilient and all that. You're still not seeing the fruition. That's where you got to have a faith. Got to be devoted and trust the process. Have that positive mindset. Because I'm going to be talking about prominent leader that we will know how much of failure that he has been through. And more than the failure, he's the richest man on the earth, but the mindset behind that person, that is more important, right? So that's just how you're going to embrace challenges, turning it as learning opportunities. More important is celebrating small wins and maintaining optimistic, realistic perspective to risk and challenge. Very, very important. Optimistic is okay, but yet realistic towards risk and challenge, because you just cannot dream, I'm going to become a richest person on earth and not doing any action relevant to it. That's not how visualization works, or even resilience can work. How many times can you keep bouncing? People give up at some point of time. Now, creating both backup plans is also important. This is a both brain. Like I say, naturally as a parent, we do this, right? We always have alternate plans, whether it is home needs or children needs, right? Especially when you have a toddler, you always have a backup plan. Similarly, as an entrepreneur, it is very important to have a backup plan. First of all, identify risk. Conduct through risk assessment to spot that potential obstacles, vulnerability in your straight initiatives. Take a note of it and always have an alternate backup. Inform this to your team so that they will also be aware of the potential risk, and they should also be trained to look at this kind of a risk every time and then have a solutions for it, prepared for it. Develop alternatives. Developing alternatives also is a process. You just cannot keep innovating it. You just have to learn from the past mistake and not do it. Also a simple thing, right? So designing comprehensive contingency strategies with clear triggers and action steps for each possible scenario. When it is a corporate, when it is a big brand, right? It can also start with simple feedback from your own past, failures, to an extent where you're going to design a comprehensive contingency. We call this as contingencies in corporates and business world, that anything can happen, even a natural calamity can happen, but the business continuity has to be there. So what is the contingency? Even a family savings, as a family person, we need to have the contingency funds to be able to sustain it. Then implement quickly. Very, very important. I can't just insist more that action is important for anything to get translated into success. So build that agile response systems that enable rapid deployment of backup plans when markets shift. And then now we're going to be talking about Elon Musk today, and maybe even Richard Branson. Both of them actually rivalries, but they are more friends in their own lines. Okay. So, I would first start with Elon Musk. Today, in fact, some reel came to me random that Elon Musk was asked, do you even know that you're considered as a richest person on the planet. No, he denied, basically saying there's already other people are there. But how much is he considered is something that his perspective that he was sharing. And then the journalist asked, the second run-up question was, do you even realize that you might lose everything at one point of time? So for that, this person says, because we all know about Elon Musk, where, uh, you know, right from energy cars to space innovation, he just making a lot of things accessible to mankind, revolutionary. It's just not a normal thing, right? Imagine a battery car running on your roads. So when I heard about Tesla, it was way back in about 2008 or 9 is when I heard about it, and I just left it because you know it's hardly I couldn't imagine even having a battery car running on roads. I hardly even see something. The infrastructure didn't make sense at all. When I shifted back to US is when we see the infrastructure is built, and we see law right now people are progressively thinking about how to save the environment. So it has taken time, and people are voluntarily, going for energy cars. Not just cars, there are also scooters coming to, US and India, everywhere across the world. So, people are even making an alternative transportation using bikes, cycles, bicycles to offices. So on that mode, energy cars has become a normal thing right now. So people are able to access that and be comfortable with that. But earlier, they had a lot of resistance, and for which this kind of an entrepreneurship would have definitely is a huge risk, and they would have invested, and definitely they had failures. That's what you were saying. In fact, both the space exploration, the SpaceX, right after its third launch, there was a huge failure. He lost all the investment. He didn't have money after fourth or fifth launch. So they were so many times they wanted to close it off. You see how, you know, the sustainability is important. But for you to maintain that your race, your place in the race, risk tolerance is very, very important. And now it is successful. Similarly, he said Tesla would have gone bankrupt for, so many times. So many failures would have already gone bankrupt, but he didn't care about it. Now, when I say he didn't care because he had that, cash reserves, he would have done all that contingency plans. And, he had the resource to keep going because he clearly, he's a visionary by leader. But his leadership style is a visionary style. So he can clearly back up that with the emerging data customers' needs and with the existing data points. So when we talk about logical brain skills, strategic planning and data-driven decision making is very, 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 very important for any leader, any business. Accordingly, you're going to apply your vision and turning all those dreams into reality. So risk tolerance and visionary leadership across diverse industries is I would say it's an admirable thing that we can identify with people like Elon Musk, even Richard Branson. At this age, about 72, he started his business about 1950, right? We are in 2025. Imagine at that young age when he, founded the Virgin Group, and it just diversified itself into various things like, music, labels, entertainment, beverages, and recently even racing and air ballooning. Okay, so they are diversified in their investments, and they must have also gone through a lot of failures. So it is how they are able to bounce back, that kind of a strategic planning, and with that leap of faith. Okay. All right. So from this, what we learn, how do we develop risk tolerance skills? First is self-assessment. Evaluate your current comfort with uncertainties through real-world scenarios and professional risk assessment tools. I'm also going to give you that gift. Okay. Emotional intelligence based risk tolerance, because emotionally also you should have that intelligence, right? One is having the visible data point and all that. That is the risk mitigation thing that a professional can give it to you. But then emotional resilience, or emotionally how tolerant you are towards risk, is something that I can guide you with. Okay. So map your strength and growth opportunity with that, and then build relevant skill basically. So if you're watching this, this is the right place. And after this, I'll tell you how to go about it. So take that calculated risk in controlled environments. That's why I say start small and manageable risk. Starting with small decisions and gradually increasing complexities is, great thing. Practice scenario planning and decision making under pressure. So scenario planning can be mentally done or with tools or with people around you brainstorming. So accordingly, take decision making, creating contingencies or developing alternatives, whatever we have discussed earlier, that can give you some amount of preparation under pressure. And then also continuously learn from your own mistakes from the past trends and the emerging trends. Okay. So study successful risk management cases also like this. And then, attend industry workshops and build a network of mentors. Very, very important, who can share their expertise in navigating business uncertainties. Right now, before pandemic, before the digital world was very dormant, it was more of a physical network, and then you got to wait for somebody to just inspire you. But now, at the click of one in your palm, everybody can talk to you, right? So ChatGPT can club, like ChatGPT, AI tools are there for you to club everything at one go and to even tell you what to need. But nothing comes in parallel to have a mentor by person. So it is very important to have a mentorship for all dimensions of life, whether it is health or finance or entrepreneurship like this. And you've got to continuously learn from them. Then the second successful tip is balance that risk and reward. As much as you want to take that risk, also reward yourself by giving by taking that current feedback, or realistically celebrate the small wins also. So risk assessment is one thing. You're going to conduct that thorough analysis, potential financial losses, market uncertainties, and operational challenges before entering into that strategic moves. It could be really good strategy also, but without analyzing your potential financial losses, market uncertainties, and operational expenses, it's going to be tough for somebody to come back again. You cannot have a recap, what do you call it, another chance. Reward potential. Quantify that expected returns through revenue projections, market share gains, long-term competitive advantages that could strengthen your positions. Again, I repeat, reward that potential. Every risk should give you a quantified expected returns through revenue projections, market share gains, and long-term competitive edges. Then take that informed decisions. With this, you are taking an informed choice. So you're going to leverage the data that you collected, expert insights from your mentors, from your industries, and then historical patterns to make that calculated risks that can maximize opportunities while minimizing the exposure to unnecessary risk. And then learning from failure. Be like that phoenix bird to be able to come back, bounce back from your own setbacks. But you got to learn it. Instead of asking, why it is happening to me? What is it happening to me? Learn that wisdom coming out of each and every setbacks. So you're going to embrace that setbacks. You're just not going to get averse from it. You're going to embrace that. Get excited when you get failure. I'm not saying rhetorically, but then it is important. Transform failures into valuable growth opportunity by maintaining a growth mindset and recognizing that every setback contains seeds of future success. Now, this is not only for an entrepreneurship, especially it is needed for an entrepreneurship. It is there at an individual level also. It is how you are is going to reflect on your business. Analyze mistakes, conduct through postmortems to understand root causes, go in depth, try to find five whys as to why, if you get this why, then why, did it not happen the other way? So document specific lesson learns, identify patterns that can inform better decision making next time and apply those lessons. It's just not having that awareness, okay, these are the points that, we need to remember, but then you're not applying it for the next risk is something that's a bad practice. So implement structured feedback loops to systematically incorporate past experiences into risk assessment frameworks and strategically planning process. How beautifully it's said. So it is not only receiving that feedback, but then make that feedback into a framework for your next risk. That's how a business model can be refreshed. So you're going to include all your mistakes and be flexible in making a new business model fresh. It need not be an entire revamp of your business model, but some inclusion every now and then can guarantee an innovation and freshness for your customers. To be able to also give the customer a confidence, even after a mistake, they're able to withstand a bit your brand because you are able to withstand your brand identity is because you're learning from your own mistakes and innovating something new this time. Never repeat the same mistake. Networking for risk management is another key point that we have to remember, that taking a peer support, you're going to build that kind of a relevant relationship with fellow entrepreneurs to exchange that risk management strategies and have those experiences shared. There are a huge number of facilities there online. Be part of that community, have that accountability partner going on, because as I already said, not every individual are self-motivated all the time. We definitely need people to help us out. Mentorship, if you don't find people, better hire a mentor whose expertise in that field, because when you pay somebody, they're accountable for you. And you know and then industry groups are always there, because you've got to be part of the bigger network. It is very important. And then technology, you cannot get averse with technology, especially after pandemic. That is why I put it as a different slide, because the world is moving towards, everybody holds a phone right now, smartphones, right? Even in villages, we see a lot of people taking a selfie and reels and all that. Everybody needs that data point, that information. They want to take that informed choice. In order to embrace your technology, we are anyway doing it on a day-to-day basis. But as an entrepreneur, you just cannot avoid using technology. So you got to have that agility and flexibility to adapt. So you're going to have a data analytics, use advanced analytics tools to assess your market data, AI-driven insights, use those tools to leverage predictive risk analysis, which can give you that emerging trend very easily in few minutes. Why not use it and automate it? The moment you are able to automate your business, that's where exactly you're getting the freedom. So implement automated systems to monitor and manage risk. Finally, if you have more questions like how often do you assess the risk before launching new ventures? Do you use market data? How easy are you at making bold moves in volatile markets? And then how comfortable are you to even look back at your mistakes, to be able to build any frameworks, and how open are you to have a mentorship? So these could be some, it can suggest some predictive behaviors in you. As a leader, as an entrepreneur, you should be able to assess this as a self-assessment. So as I already said, these are not risk mitigation assessment, these are emotional intelligence assessment. So like this, I am giving a gift of EQ quiz bundles for all the 100 episodes that you have been listening. So this is coming to you as a gift from you for lifetime access. All you have to do is, it's getting in progress. It's going to get prepared for 100 episodes. It's going to take some more time. But I want you to register in the link below. But before that, I want you to comment whatever you've learned here, because it is very important to register the awareness that you've learned. And that shows as an engagement score for me. So it will boost me to move on with other series and answer your questions. So it will be an exchange that if you can engage, top three comments, any insights that as a comment, I'll be able to give it to you as a free of cost, because once it is there outside for 100 episodes, I'm going to have a fee for it, but I'm going to give it to you free. Even though it is asking you to pay, I'm going to give it to you free of cost, provided I see your comments in YouTube under each episode that you're watching. So I'm going to pick you up, give you a 100% free coupon code. With that, you can apply it on the link given in the description. With that, you will get a free lifetime access. Plus, I'm also offering a free EQ workshop. I've been, until last month, it is always about, a paid workshop, but this month being women, we're celebrating women. So, if you are a woman who is watching this, make use of this. It's going to be free emotional intelligence brain skill workshop. Whatever you have been learning in this series, it's going to be replicated in the workshop in a very interactive way. It's just going to be 1 or 2 hours. The link is given there. It will be a surprise. You will get to know end of this month there is a workshop, but the link is given there. Register there. It's a free of cost, where you will also gain to understand how you can identify your own brain styles and brain talents. If you are clear that you want risk tolerance in your life, you want to learn how to build resilience, you want to learn how to build critical thinking, then you will find it even more implementable when you attend that workshop. Okay, that's coming there for women only, free of cost for this month only. Okay, anyways, if you still haven't there are other resources that is available free of cost that you can make use of it. So that I would encourage for you to follow my YouTube channel if you still haven't subscribed to it. And also there is Spotify. All these episodes are coming to you on the fly, on the go, just a shorter version. So that can also be, heard wherever you are. And there are Instagram Reels, LinkedIn posts. All these denote free resources on emotional intelligence for you to expand yourself. But I want to also make you, you know, give you that insight that the best entrepreneurs aren't fearless. Okay. They are just learned how to take that right call at that right time by taking that smarter risks. So whatever hacks that I've given, apart from the gifts or apart from all these things, just take one or two action. Just take one or two concepts and take that one or two action. So that is what is going to strengthen your risk tolerance. Don't just leave it like that. Okay, more than all these gifts and all these case studies and all that, what are you going to do for your business as an entrepreneur is more important. That is how you're going to unlock your limitless opportunities. So I want you to do that. Okay, until I see you next episode, take that one small manageable risk and give me your comments as to what have you understood, what is your outcome.